Hey, girl. Hey.
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 New year, same ish. And I'm talking
Whew.
about another unarmed black man. Justice for Ahmaud is a hashtag that is trending. A lot of hashtags related to this story. A graphic video had emerged onto the internet of a 25-year-old African American male who was chased down in Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia, neighborhood. Not sure what the type of neighborhood it was, but allegedly killed by two white men in Georgia, father and son. Um, According to reports, the father, who is an ex-cop, believes that this gentleman, Ahmaud Arbery, was a suspect in a string of robberies in the area. And so they wanted to do the citizens arrest thing and kind of catch him. So there's a lot of speculation out there.
Mm-hmm.
Black people are upset. White people are upset that black people are upset.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We want to know why this happened in February, and we are talking about this in May, and the two men have not been arrested.
That's what I thought
One
was very
man would have
interesting.
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
February.
26.
Yeah.
So
February was winter time.
Right.
Like,
Amber
it's a whole new
Owens,
season.
again, not covering this case. I don't even know where to start. If
Yeah.
you were covering this
Yeah, I
case,
mean,
you would be defending the two men. Like you'd say what?
so I mean, as a defense attorney, essentially people who are charged with crimes I defend. They need to be charged with crimes. They have not been yet. As you all know, prosecutors bring forth charges all the time. That's how it's generally done. Most people are charged by, often make police reports. They connect with the district attorney's office locally, and then charges are brought. There's also the formal indictment process through a grand jury. That's where a prosecutor would present information in front of a grand jury, and then it's almost like a pre-trial situation where the grand jury decides if the case is sufficient or has enough evidence to bring forth charges. A grand jury is not necessary to bring forth charges. It's just simply not on the county level, not on the local level. You see a lot of more grand juries on the federal level than you do locally. So at this point, none of the men have been charged. And the video was publicized yesterday, I believe, the recording of the murder. And you could see that Ahmaud was really hunted down. In the video, I recently learned that the video was a third man who followed Ahmaud. So you have the father and the son, the father being a former police officer and investigator, and his son in their truck. And then you have this third neighbor to the Michaels. I think that word, Travis is the son, and Gregory McMichael. Those are the two gentlemen who should be charged. I also think this third person, Mr. William Bryan, who recorded the video, should also be charged, because you see the pickup truck runs in front of him and blocks his ability to keep running. And then the second truck stops him. So now he's kind of stuck in between two cars, right? You can't turn around because there's a car behind you, and you can't. So in the video, you see him kind of go on the right side around the truck, trying to avoid the interaction between the men, but he gets into a scuffle with the man with the shotgun, Travis, who eventually shot and murdered him. So, I mean, it's very clear what happened. I think that's sufficient enough to bring forth charges. But the reality is that the older gentleman, he was an officer. He was a retired cop. He was a former police officer. I think I seen for 7 years, and he was an investigator for the local district attorney for 20. So what you're seeing in that office is like district attorneys. When you're associated with someone, you have to recuse yourself situation. So they've been through 3 or 4 different attorneys who can investigate the case. Because essentially they know him. So that's been a problem. I've also read that like that police force has just gone through like a police chief who was essentially fired because he was doing some shady things within the police office, the local police department. So locally in Brunswick, Georgia, which I think is about an hour away from Savannah, hour and 30 minutes away from Savannah, Georgia. So it's towards the coast. But you know, what you're seeing there is you're seeing a crazy police force that's known for doing corrupt things, recently got their chief of police fired. So there's an interim guy who started, I think, a couple days after this incident happened. And then you got DAs who can't work on the case because they actually know the guy who shot him because he used to be an employee for the. So literally, the guy is just getting, you know, they're saying that they can't do it because they know him. And he's getting away with murder because he was a former officer.
Yeah.
And a grand jury.
Can charges be brought against them like on a national level? See, if they can't do it locally.
On a federal level?
Yeah, federal.
Yes. Federal level.
I think, yes, you have to kind of like have that conversation about jurisdiction. Like, what would be the reason that the feds would involve with a essentially a local murder? When you look at fed crime,
you have to prove that it's a civil rights.
Right. It has to kind of rise to that level first.
Right.
At this point, I don't think there's sufficient grounds for the Fed to get involved unless it's established that the local, government is not doing what they need to do. So hopefully it gets to that point soon. I think a key thing that you said is, what can we do? Keep making noise about it. Keep the hashtag going. Keep making a known situation. It's unfortunate that this happened in February and we're in May, and it's really just becoming a buzz. I know you can always, although we're not residents of Brunswick, Georgia, you can call the mayor, you can call the chief of police, we can call and email the district attorney's office. And I think the amount of force and noise and that sort of push around it, people are going to be forced to move, right? Because if they keep getting phone calls, if they keep getting emails, if they keep getting, it becomes the issue. So now they have to do something. Now I have to present this in front of the grand jury because nationally people are looking at us. I think the buzz around it is the only reason why it's going in front of a grand jury.
Right.
Yeah. Because it probably would have just been one of those situations where it was swept up under the rug. And then, unfortunately, Ahmaud is only mourned by his family and close friends. So at least now it's public. It's known.
But we've heard. I'm sorry, Jerry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say this happened in February. It's now May. Where did this video come from all of a sudden? Why wasn't it shown in February?
The guy, it was his friend, right? He was an acquaintance of one of the McMichaels, but he published the video to kind of, because he was saying that people were being unfair to the community, and he just wanted to show what really happened, but it backfired because it doesn't show that they were in the right at all. No?
Right. It's so sad because this becomes commonplace for us. Even though we have video, we have video of a man that said he can't breathe and he's going into a store for cigarettes. We have a video. We have videos now, and videos, there's still people.
They're not enough.
They're getting off with a video showing. What is this? Still, he's in his car. He gets shot by an officer. There's a video. We have mounds and mounds of video, but no one gets arrested.
Right.
So, it starts to harden you. It starts to harden your heart a little bit. But if you're a person of faith, something is going to happen. I can understand people getting so angry because I'm angry. But it's so hard when you see that each time and it's always a white cop gets off. Antoine Rose.
Yeah, that's true.
We have it in our own city, and videos show. So what else do we need to do? Do we need to actually put you there so you can see it? Because if you can't, no one's mixing up videos and tampering video. It's there. So it's just one of those situations. It just boils me whenever I see that. And I couldn't look at that video. When I watched this morning, his mother was on one of the talk shows, and she says she still has not seen that video, and she has listened to the accounts of other people. And that makes it even worse for you because every account is different. You know, some people will say a different way and express it a different way. And that's so much for a mother to hear that. I think she needs to see the video, but she says she can't. And I can understand her not wanting to see it. But to listen to that from other people, that's just something that just saddens me that she has a video of her son dying, that she was there at his birth, but she can see him dying as well. I don't know. It's just,
what is this world coming to?
As a mother of a 22-year-old Black man, I can't find words. It has increased my fear every day. You know, my son is not here. My son is, he lives more towards Philly. And I try and check in with him and I say, you know, don't forget, if you're confronted by a police officer, don't talk back, let them know, you're instruct, let them know I'm slowly getting my ID, communicate with them. Hey, haven't done anything, and and it's said that we have to have these talks with our young men repeatedly, constantly, every day, but it does not stop the incidents from happening. So Amber, are the protests working? Are the marches working? Because I don't think they're working because nothing has changed. And maybe I'm not looking. Maybe I'm not looking in the right direction.
I would say that they work to a certain degree. I understand the importance of protest and marching, I think, but for protest and marching, we wouldn't be having this conversation here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But for protesting and people talking about it and people sharing, I wouldn't know. I'm not in Georgia. We don't live in Georgia. I don't have family in Brunswick. I have family in Atlanta, right outside of Atlanta. So I think it is necessary and it is important because unless people continue to make that noise, how else will the federal government get involved? Right? It was a local situation. The local police officer was inside. It would have been done deal, and then family would have been mourning. So I would say for that reason, protests work. As an attorney who went into law because I seen how the legal system wasn't necessarily helping my people where I'm from, because I grew up in Homewood and East Hill. So most of the people I know were on the other side of the law. And here I am merging into a system that necessarily hasn't always been in my interest.
Right.
I think I have to keep hope. I have to keep faith. I have to keep fighting. And I would encourage all people to do that. You're fighting in your platform. Having this conversation amongst us, people to hear, I think that's a level of fight. That's a level of energy that's necessary for these sorts of unfortunate situations. It's heartbreaking.
It is.
As you all just said, my son is here. He's 2. His name is Ahmaud. Like when I seen that, I'm just like, sheesh. Talk about that could be your son. That is my son's name. That's his name. Ahmaud was shot and murdered. And I'm just like, to say that, it's heartbreaking. It hurts. It makes me sad. It makes me angry. It makes me just it literally breaks me inside for several different reasons, And like you said, I can't imagine not having those conversations with him. You work really hard to get them out of situations where they might not be in harm in their community, but then you got to deal with officers who hate them because of their color of their skin. But I want to mind you, this man wasn't an officer right now. He's a retired cop, right? He's a retired detective. He wasn't in uniform, right? He didn't do a citizen's arrest. The first interaction, he got a shotgun. Hold up, that's not how you do a citizen's arrest. Even if you're saying that that's what the encounter was to be, I thought he was a suspect of a burglary, local burglaries, or whatever the case may be. That's not how you stop, and that's not the first interaction that you had. The first interaction with him, he seen men with loaded guns, a shotgun, and another man on the back of the truck with a pistol.
I'm running.
And you're not expecting me to run. I'm running in the first place. So now I'm really trying to run.
Right.
And now you pop out with the shot. Of course, I'm trying to push you off. And secure my safety, defend myself. You know, it's a natural reaction.
You know that this is
it's not just officers. Right. So, the situation is it's not just officers, right? So what's the conversations we have with our sons, you know? But it's not only that, it's just, we're going to keep making noise. We're going to keep fighting until you understand that this is acceptable. You know what I mean? We're gonna defend ourselves. We're gonna teach our young men to be kings, to carry themselves appropriately. But we're also gonna let you know plain and clear that you're not allowed to murder us, right? You're not allowed to gun me down and kill me and think there's no repercussion. And truth of the matter is, we need to start self-governing ourselves to a degree.
I was gonna
protect and defend.
How can we? Moving
very strongly in that.
Yeah. So what does that consist of? Does that mean teaching
carrying your own gun,
making it elective? Like, what is this? What does that mean? Having groups, organizations? Because if we organize, and there's another issue, you know what I mean? So how do you do that?
I think it, you know, I don't think there's one answer to it. And I think everyone who has a passion or has energy in themselves that they want to do something, I think it's important that they do it on their level that they're interested in.
Right.
I think organization is necessary. I think protests are necessary. I think attorneys who are civil rights attorneys who are standing next to the mothers who are saying that we want charges, no, not want, we demand that charges are filed against these murderers. You know, those, every single level of the fight is necessary.
That's right, baby. That's
right. And those who are teaching their sons that we're Power Rangers and defending themselves. I do think we need gun lessons for our kids. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I think we all need to be armed and know how to properly defend ourselves. I believe strongly in that as well. And I think it needs to start. We're strong. Yes, we are. We're strong. We need to Spider-Man. Yes. So we need to constantly be in a state where we're capable of protecting ourselves. Hold on one second, Mighty Man.
He got something to say.
I know. He's ready.
He's a lawyer in training. Look at him. He got his whole defense.
He's like, and another thing.
Go ahead, Ahmaud. Go ahead, Judge.
And one more thing.
But I think it's so important. I understand the marches. I'm for that, and I don't think we should pull back. Not at all. I do see a change because I think it would be even worse if we didn't have. We're seeing some of the things because people weren't marching before. You know, somewhere because of social media and things. I think people are hesitant because I think racism is systemic. Racism. It's been going on for so long. When you see those pictures of lynching and you see people around them like it's a big affair. The whole thing of lynching. So people have been doing that for years. This is the way people operate. And some people think it's their right because they think it's their history that they've seen this and it's nothing for a black man to hang from a tree. It's nothing to kill a black man. Like the disrespect goes for histories and histories. But I think we're doing such a great job in terms of, you know, the protesting, lawyers, judges, everyone stepping up. You know, even our past president, I'm not going to talk about the present, but our past ones having something to say about it.
Right.
That's important.
Now, like you said, we're more confident in, like you said, the protest and the march and the t-shirts and the social media. Back then, you know, it didn't happen as much, but now, you know, especially with a lot of people in the younger generation like me who are more powerful with their voices, they have a voice, you know what I mean? And they can go
people have been marching for years. My parents marched. I mean, and they marched before that. There was always a struggle for us. We just didn't have social media. So there was always marching. I mean, my mother was from Talladega, Alabama. You know, racism big. But always someone doing a march. There was always somebody doing something. We didn't have the social media. I think now with the social media and people putting even, you know what, even when people look up your picture on social media and they see a picture of somebody who have died, like, you know, Tawanda Blunt, they see, oh man, I said that's somebody else's name. Ooh, just didn't want to say it. But they see someone like her on there, and, you know, they know what you're about, and they just can't step to you any kind of way. And whenever you have the freedom of voicing your opinion when it comes to things. I'm not saying all the time that social media is where you want to keep going and arguing with people, because sometimes that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But just getting out there and just voting for the right person.
I'm glad you said that. Does that help, Amber? Because that's always been my first defense.
Yes,
well, if we want to do something, we need to get out and vote.
I think this is, and this is a key example. I mean, having the pressure behind the mayor, behind the police chief, behind the district attorney, those are the people that makes the call. Like, the district attorney is elected,
right?
The police chief is elected, the mayor is elected. So those are the people that can put the pressure to make these calls when it's necessary. So you have to have the right people in place. On my timeline today, I seen a picture of the governor of Georgia
hugging
with Gregory McMichael.
Yep.
A picture with them, you know, during the election time, they're running, he's campaigning, and he has on his Trump hat, and he has on a shirt that says something along the lines of like, a law is not God. And I'm just like, he is voting for this governor right here. He's here, he's on the front lines, he's pushing, he's making it known he's a Trump supporter, he's making it known he doesn't believe in diversity of faith and religion. He is, you know, their poster boy. And I'm just like voted. It always goes back to who is in place when key decisions need to be made.
I want to end it on that, because we got to end, and I hate that we have to end the show because we're getting so deep into conversation. Amber Owens, thank you so much. Is there a way where our listeners and our viewers can check in with you, maybe call you or email you or something like that if someone has any questions? Or
reach me via phone anytime, 412-400-6401. I'm available for all your criminal defense needs as well as your business organization and transaction. So I'm available. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can find me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks, Ahmaud. Thank you so much for sharing, Mommy. Happy Mother's Day to you. Happy Mother's Day to you, love.
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you to you all.